Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Friday, June 29th, 2018. I am Dave Biddle, very happy to be joined by Jonah Booker for his usual Friday visit. JBook, I want to start off talking about this budding St. Louis to Ohio State pipeline. I don't know if this is the Ezekiel Elliott effect, but obviously Zeke is originally from the St. Louis area. Buckeyes in their 2018 class landed Kamryn Babb and Kamryn Brown, wide receivers from St. Louis. Now the Buckeyes are the favorites to land a couple of four-star wide receivers from St. Louis in the 2019 class, Jameson, Marcus Washington. Where did this come from, man? It looks like a pretty nice pipeline building from St. Louis to Columbus.
I absolutely think it's the Ezekiel Elliott effect. I mean, he's probably one of the best high school football players to ever come out of the state. And kids are seeing what he did at Ohio State and seeing it translate over to the NFL. You have Ambassador Stacey Elliott out there preaching the gospel about how great a place Ohio State is and how it benefits his son and his family. And so kids take notice to that. A lot of those kids are growing up, looking up to Zeke Elliott, and they get on campus and they're absolutely blown away. It also helps that Missouri doesn't have a powerhouse football program, so it's open season in there. And I'm just truly amazed about the quality of wide receivers that's coming up out of there. Guys are coming out high 4-star, 5-star type talents, top 247 talent, and Ohio State absolutely has their attention.
Let's talk more about the guys I mentioned, Jameson Williams and Marcus Washington, again, both high 4-star wide receivers, both from St. Louis. And for the listeners that don't know this, looking at the crystal ball, 100% of the crystal ball for Jameson Williams has him going to Ohio State. 100% of the crystal ball picks for Marcus Washington have him going to Ohio State. Needless to say, that's a pretty good sign for Urban Meyer and company.
Yeah, absolutely. All indications are they're going to be Buckeyes. It's just a matter of when, not if. And the one thing that really pops about those guys, tremendous size. Ohio State, these last couple classes, they're really upgrading the position at wide receiver. Two things that you're really noticing is, one, they're doing completely away from the athlete playing wide receiver. They've learned and noticed that the development of those guys is taking way too long. Trying to get former quarterbacks or running backs to transition to the college level and playing at a high level, it's a tall task. So they're going for more of the pure wide receivers, the guys that are coming out ahead of schedule compared to transition an athlete. And two, the size of these guys. They are bringing in big wide receivers. I know they want to mix in a couple slot guys in there who are speedsters, but for the most part, these guys are 6'2" and above, and you have to like the amount of guys that they're bringing in with that size, because it's going to create tremendous wingspan and targets for Dwayne Haskins and Tate Martell in the future.
Sticking with the 2019 class, some uncommitted recruits, I want to ask you about Tyler Davis, a kid that, big 4-star defensive tackle from Apopka, Florida. Looking at his crystal ball, it says 80% Ohio State, but it sounds like it's going to be an Ohio State versus Clemson battle. Mano a mano, Urban Meyer against Dabo Swinney. What are your thoughts on Tyler Davis as you read the tea leaves here? Do you feel like that 80% is a little optimistic for Ohio State, or just your thoughts on the recruitment of big Tyler Davis?
I think that's about accurate. From all indications, reading the tea leaves, is Larry Johnson has done a tremendous job recruiting this kid. Obviously, when you're going against Clemson, you know you're going to be in a battle. Clemson history speaks for itself. You look at their defensive line this year, they have 4 NFL guys that'll probably be in the first 2 rounds of the draft come next spring, and they have a bevy of 5 stars that's waiting in the wings. But make no mistake, Ohio State has a tremendous and deep history with the defensive line. Larry Johnson's resume speaks for itself. Guys that are coached under Larry Johnson usually head to the next level, really polished, tremendous technique, and that's one thing that attracts this kid to Ohio State is his relationship and the potential to play under Larry Johnson. One thing you have to look at about this guy is he's 293 right now, and they have him listed at 6'1", and that's probably with cleats on. So I say this guy's probably a 6 foot, maybe under guy. Once he gets to the next level, I think he could be a 315, 320 guy once he gets in the weight room and he has unlimited meals. But they really like him. He has a high upside, a really good motor. He's big beef in the middle, similar to Bob Landers. Probably not as quick as that first step with Bob Landers, but you like that he plays against really good Florida competition. And anytime you have a chance to grab a top 10 defensive tackle in the country, you take him.
No doubt about that. You'd also take a 5-star offensive tackle anytime you can get one. Darnell Wright, heavily looking at Ohio State, the best player out of West Virginia the Buckeyes already have. Another offensive lineman out of West Virginia, Doug Nestor in the 2019 class, but Darnell Wright ranked even higher. Again, 5-star offensive tackle. Now, JBook, look at the crystal ball. It says 71% for Ohio State. I mean, I think that's a little optimistic. Your thoughts on Darnell Wright?
Yeah, I think that's optimistic as well. I think a lot of those crystal balls were cast early on in his recruitment, so that's what kind of pushed Ohio State up there. I know our own Alex Gleitman said on the front row message board that it was looking like a heavy SEC lean here, potentially Alabama. But then he makes a surprise visit to Ohio State, which got everybody pretty excited. I know he dropped it on his Instagram that he was on campus at Ohio State this past weekend. People didn't know that he was actually going to be on campus, which surprised a lot of people and opened some eyes. Now, obviously, you get this type of kid on campus, Ohio State's going to roll the red carpet out for him. It's going to be a battle. Ohio State is trying to position themselves to strike gold here with another 5-star talent, but it's absolutely going to be a battle here. If I had to guess today, I would say he's headed to the SEC, but I think Ohio State has really put themselves in their running to strike gold. Never count out Urban Meyer, especially for a kid that's within a solid radius of Ohio State. Huntington is not too far from Columbus, so Ohio State is actually going to recruit him to the very end. They're going to make it difficult for any SEC team to come up here and grab this kid.
A couple more kids I want to ask you about. We'll get you out of here. A couple of kids everybody's heard about who's listening to this show. Zach Harrison, of course, the number 1 player in the state of Ohio, number 3 overall player in the country in the 2019 class. The crystal ball, again, is very optimistic as it pertains to Ohio State. 100% of the crystal ball picks for Ohio State. You'd think there'd be like 1 or 2 for Penn State or something, but 100% of the crystal balls for Ohio State. I mean, that's obviously good news for the Buckeyes. Just your thoughts on Zach Harrison, I guess your confidence level, JBook, as far as him going to Ohio State or not.
I'm at 100% confidence level when it comes to this kid. It's just a matter of when as well with Harrison. I know the Michigan people who've been following this, they've pretty much thrown in the towel and said everybody and their mom knows where this kid is headed. I know a lot of the Michigan fans were following his mom on social media, and what they're saying is she's all Buckeye. So I look for Ohio State to land one of the freaks. This kid right here, I'm pumped up about his recruitment for the simple fact that he is an absolute freak of nature. You see this guy out here sprinting with high school sprinters at his age and his size, and you just look and you go, wow, that's a rare blend of size, length, and speed and power. And he's so young and he's so raw. I've had people say this kid reminds him of Julius Peppers. I know that was one of the scouting reports on 24/7 when he went to the Army All-American game, but that's not the only publication that has compared him to Julius Peppers. So I think he has tremendous upside. Once he gets into the class, hopefully he becomes one of the class leaders and help recruit the other remaining targets that they're looking at.
And looking ahead to the 2020 class, we are officially on Jack Miller commit watch this weekend, JBook. right from your backyard, man, Scottsdale, Arizona, the number 3 pro-style quarterback in the country in the 2020 class, number 47 overall according to the 27 Sports Composite. So he's knocking on the door to be a 5-star right now, a high 4-star. Again, looking at the crystal ball, 100% of the predictions. There's a total of 20 predictions, 100% of them Ohio State. And again, we're on commit watch. He could commit at any point this weekend. Your thoughts on your boy Jack Miller?
Yeah, he posted on social media he's going to make his decision on Sunday. I'm really excited about this kid. He is the real deal. Talk about a guy who can really spin the football, already with tremendous size, 6'4", 210. He plays against the best competition in Arizona, in the Phoenix area. He plays in the big school division, 5A. The school has over 2,000 students there, so they're playing against the top competition. Opening week, he goes against Chandler Hamilton, which is an absolute powerhouse. Those guys are usually ranked in the top 25 in the U.S. as far as high school football teams, according to Max Prep and USA Today, depending on what publication you look at. But the thing with Miller is you land him, you're probably going to get his teammate, the running back that Ohio State offered this past week. And I know Bill Green has said his teammate is probably the best running back in the country. His family grew up in Akron. His brother was born there in Columbus. He said his whole family are Buckeyes. So you can have a nice little Ohio State pipeline out here in Scottsdale, Arizona, at one of the premier high school programs in the state. So I plan on, if he commits, I plan on going to go watch several of his high school games, considering the talent that they're going to be playing against will be a good barometer to see what his potential is. And obviously 24/7 is extremely high on him. They have him rated as the number 3 pro-style quarterback. But if Ohio State can get him in the fold, that's going to be a tremendous boom. You get a guy who is going to be a leader of your class early, ahead of schedule. You don't have to really worry about your 2020 quarterbacks because you have a stud already, so you can focus on other positions, but you're still going to have to continue to recruit him because you still had teams like Florida and Auburn and Georgia and Alabama who's going to continue to come at him, but you really have to like where Ohio State's at with this recruitment.
Going so well for the Buckeyes, and I tell you this, the last time the Buckeyes landed a quarterback from Scottsdale, Arizona, it worked out pretty damn well. Joe Germain, so I'm okay with all of this.
Absolutely, and the kid, he's a really good kid, and the talent, he's just dripping with talent. I mean, you get a 6'4", 210 quarterback who can absolutely stand in the pocket and drop dimes, and he has the legs that are good enough to move the change, and he can do a lot of the things that Ohio State likes to mix up on the offensive side of the football. So he's going to be a great fit, and if he can bring his teammate, the 4-star running back with him, it's just going to be even better.
Well, JBook is a great fit, of course. Thank you very much to Jonah Booker. You can read his column this weekend. It is Outside Columbus. He's a must-follow on Twitter. He's at JBook37. Thank you very much to Jonah Booker, and thanks very much to all the listeners out there for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.